Good morning, Unity of Pompano. Good morning. Such a beautiful Sunday morning. We're so glad to see all of you this morning. And she's with us once again. Won't you please welcome Miss Danette Rivas.
Standing outside the door of love and mercy, you wonder if there's a place there for you. You know there's peace inside, but still you're searching for someone who understands the pain you've been through. Well, the Father waits with open arms. He's calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. You'll find a place of rest in the arms of the Spirit. God has waited so long for your homecoming day. God knows the peace you seek and the hurt you're feeling. Spirit wants to hold you to wipe your tears away. But the Father waits with open arms. God is calling out your name. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. There is room enough in the house of love for someone just like you. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in. Come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. We want to hear you, Unity. Come on. No matter where you've been, come on in, welcome home. You are loved, you belong here now. No matter where you've been, come on in.
Good morning, everybody. We so joyfully get together every Sunday and at our many activities in between. If you haven't met me yet, I'm Bev Spivey. I co-minister here. Oh, I hear a train a-coming. I hear a whistle blowing. You have to be into music or really old. Do you think it's Johnny Cash? Just out of Folsom Prison, here he is to join me today. And if you're new to our humor, we believe in laughing. Reverend Lawrence Palmer is my wonderful husband and co-minister. And our music is directed so wonderfully by James McCoy.
Good morning. It would have been so great if we were actually doing a song from Johnny Cash today. Sadly, no. But we are doing a song, I'm not even kidding, from the Eagles.
Old enough.
It's not Hotel California. It's not. Would you please welcome Mr. John Rose at the piano this morning? We have Mr. Orlando Machado at the drum set. And of course, you met Danette Rivas. And won't you please join me? It's Orlando's birthday today.
James.
So on three, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Orlando.
And James, it's also Phil DeRocher's birthday
Is
today.
it really? Is Phil here?
Where are you, Phil?
All right, on three, here we go. To Phil, here we go. Happy birthday, Phil. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Phil. Awesome. Phil, if you haven't met Orlando, Phil, you guys can chat later. You can compare driver's licenses, whatever.
All right, it's so wonderful to gather, and as we do, we go into this year's theme, which is the courage to imagine. And we can imagine laughter in all kinds of circumstances. We can imagine healing. We can imagine love. We just use our imagination as we build that power that we all have to imagine the good possibilities always. And wouldn't you know, this month is the month of peace. And especially this morning, as we are reeling from hearing about yet another shooting in Pittsburgh, in a Jewish synagogue, let us really take this into our heart, because we know peace begins with each of us. So together, I am the power of peace in all matters. And let's look at our vision and remember that. Together, centered in God, we create an ever-expanding spiritual community of one. And our mission statement, we see ourselves together. We are a spiritual beacon of inspiration, abundance, and enlightenment. And let's take a few moments for prayer. As we close our eyes and breathe together, putting aside all other distractions of the day, the week, the happenings, let us know that we gather here in love and acceptance of each other, in the desire to know more, to understand more, to be able to shine our light in a positive way. Our heart goes out to all of those touched in the Squirrel Hill neighborhood in Pittsburgh. Many of us are from that state. We have memories of what that town looks like. Many of us have connections to the Jewish community. Whether or not we do, our heart goes out to all of those who are suffering this morning. And we declare peace. Peace in their heart, peace in their soul. And until they can feel that peace, we hold the high watch of peace as we go forward into this day and the days beyond. And so it is. Amen. And let's pray together now our statement of peace. Unity of Pompano, a member of Unity Worldwide Ministries, stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, the many ways to worship God, for there is only one power and presence of God, and that God loves each one of us equally. We urge all nations, their leaders, and their people to turn to God by whatever the name for guidance during these challenging times, and pursue peace, not war, for this is what honors the God of all our faith traditions. Unity stands for peace in our lifetime. And so it is, and so let us be that personification of peace. So let's stand and sing.
This one's called I'm Choosing Heaven. I know a lot of you know it. It's another one we got from the Agape Choir out there in Los Angeles. Let's all sing together. I'm choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Let's choose heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Let's choose love.
I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing I'm choosing love.
Let's choose
today.
joy. Let's go up.
joy today. I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today.
Let's choose peace.
I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing peace today.
Let's choose heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road to heaven right now, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. One more time. I'm choosing heaven today. Again, I'm choosing heaven today.
And where's heaven? Wherever we make it. Absolutely. We've got a task on our hands that we can handle. We can bring heaven to any moment. Okay, but I'm not preaching today. So, if you're here for the first time, we want to give you a very warm welcome. Would you raise your hand, please? We just have a brochure to give you. If you raise your hand, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
The brochure has information about the Unity Movement and about this Unity Center. You can always find that information online as well, unitypompanobeach.org. You can go there and look at the About Us link, and it'll go all the way back to this church's history, 50-some years ago now, and the Unity Movement, well over 100 years. So if you like those historical tidbits, you can go read up on that. The information that we just passed out to those who are here for the first time is available to anybody who'd like to see that brochure if you haven't happened to have one. There are slips inside and in your chair backs. One is for contact information. Please know that if you've changed your email or your address and you're a member, you may not have changed it with us and are missing some of your invitations. So we don't want to miss anything. So be sure you keep us up to date with your information. The blue slips are for prayer. And prayer is very important here, and we want to invite all of you to share your prayer concerns, your celebrations. If you're having a birthday, let us know it. And let us just be together as that community that prays constantly for each other. That's what our chaplains are for, and they are always in the first room on the right, the Peace Chapel, the Prayer Chapel, and they will pray with you privately if you like, or just sit in there by yourself without the chaplain praying with you, 10:30 every Sunday, so half hour before the service. And of course, they are the ones who will stand in the aisles afterwards and be here available for you for prayer right afterwards. We have Daily Words for sale now. The 2-month issue of Daily Word is just $6, and you may find that in our used bookstore. Our bookstore is used books, and one of these days we may move up to new books, but we've got quite a few used books that have been donated and people clearing out their wonderful reading material. Right now we would let you know that it's somewhat on the honor system. Some of our inventory of books is already depleted, and I know that, if nobody's in there, you don't know where to leave your money for that. So we've put some offering envelopes in there. If you happen to want one of the used books or more, and nobody's in there to receive your money, just put bookstore on the front of that envelope and put your money inside, and either put it through the slot in the office door or give it to Becky in the office. We're trying to just make this as reasonable for anybody, so without going to a lot of calculations. Books are $2 each, or if they happen to be a very small paperback, whatever, that you don't think they have a $2 value, then give $1. And let us all support our used bookstore. It's our pleasure to be welcoming Rabbi Brad Boxman next Sunday. He is a rabbi here, and he's going to kick off our month of gratitude, and we'll also be honoring our ancestors. There will not be a workshop, but Brad will be doing the Sunday service. It's Ancestors Month that we do every November. We like to remember where we came from. We like to remember those who are in our past that inspired us. It can be someone from your family or someone just totally outside that, perhaps even one of the authors that you've read that changed your life. We'll have a table, and you just bring in whatever memento that reminds you of that ancestor, and then we will know that as we congregate here with all the love and appreciation and gratitude in our hearts, they will be blessed. Also, we have Women of Unity now is going to have an ancestor focus and genealogy fun. So that will be a week from Saturday, November 10th, right here in Fellowship Hall from 10 to 12. You're to bring a sacred item as part of what the program will be, and also bring a friend. The sacred item should have something to do, have some sort of meaning to you about ancestry or even genealogy, and bring a friend for sure. The Wellness Support Group had a wonderful response when they met a few weeks ago. We had a waiting list. So now we've opened this up and changed the night. Those that are not able to come on a Thursday night, the next meeting of mental wellness will be Wednesday night, 7 o'clock to 8:30. It's just a love offering basis. So that's a wonderful opportunity to be led by a therapist and have some positive ideas and positive ways to release the angst that might be with you over any number of things. So come out for that. But we ask you to go ahead and RSVP. There's no charge involved, but if you go to the website, unitypompanobeach.org, you'll see a big promo there and a link where you just click on, give us your RSVP information so we know how many to count on. And with that, now it's my turn to take whatever children are here. I see Praise, I see Julian, I know Catherine has returned from Unitine Retreat, and I look forward to hearing all of her report. And any other children that I haven't noticed, please come with me and we're going to have a lesson for a while. The rest of you, let's stand and greet each other.
This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Hoy es el día que el Señor creó, que el Señor creó. Yo cantaré, cantaré por Él, cantaré por Él. Hoy es el día que el Señor creó. Yo cantaré, cantaré por Él. Hoy es el día. Hoy es el día que el Señor creó. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. Yo cantaré, cantaré por él. This is the day that the Lord has made. The Lord has made.
And when the music stops, we all sit back down. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Fernando Medina, and I will be reading the Daily Word today, October the 28th. In the moment, I am grateful for the gifts within each moment. Every moment exudes infinite possibilities, and I am grateful for the gifts each moment offers in my life today. Still, it is not always easy to remember the power of possibilities that lie within every moment as distractions claim my attention. Retreating from the external by turning within, I center my awareness in God and my divine identity. I anchor myself in the now moment, appreciative of its power and open to its gifts. It is by tuning into this moment that I feel the light and love of infinite spirit. Acknowledging that the source of all I need is within and all around me, I relax into the peace of each powerful moment. I joyfully affirm I am grateful for the gifts within each moment. The reading is, "See, now is the acceptable time. See, now is the day of salvation." 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2.
Right now, as the prayer chest comes forward, we'd like to begin a time of prayer and meditation by singing together, "I'm at peace." I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit. I am calm. I am still. I am doing God's will. I am at peace. I am at peace. I am one with the Spirit, and I dwell in the presence of the Lord. And I dwell in the presence of the Lord.
I invite you now to settle into that very comfortable and familiar position for your body. And as you do, you can give your body permission to relax, to let go, to let be. And with that loving permission, your body will immediately move its focus from the outer to the inner. You can also give your mind that same permission to let go of thinking and planning and just to be. Because this is a time of being. Nothing to do, nothing to think about, but to be. So very easily, very naturally, your awareness settles into that deep of your heart, immersed in that pure being of spirit, that pure presence of spirit. And we allow ourselves to be. And during this time, I invite you to imagine that your awareness is immersed in possibility. And allow an image, a feeling, a sound, a color to emerge that represents possibility. It might be the image of an unblossomed rosebud. It might be an orange blossom carrying the potential, the possibility of a fruit. It might be a newborn child with his whole future stretching out in front. Or it may be just that sense of immense possibility that is a part of spirit. So let us together join in the stillness. Allow our hearts to be still. Allow our awareness to commune with spirit, to be exactly what it needs to be for us right now. Now, as you prepare to move your awareness back to your body, to this space and this time, You know that even an instant during which your awareness is immersed in that deep of your heart, that healing and transformation take place. And you know that you can bring with you into your mind, into your heart, into your body, the essence of this experience in the stillness. And in this coming week, anytime that you choose to, you can simply take a deep breath and recall this experience once again and be blessed all over again. So with a deep sense of gratitude for this experience in the stillness, I invite you to take a deep, slow breath in through your nose. Hold it for a moment. Exhale slowly, deliberately through your mouth. When you're ready, open your eyes and we will sing together, Alleluia.
Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia. Alleluia.
Wish you peace when the cold winds blow, warm by the fire's glow. I wish you comfort in the lonely time, and arms to hold you when you ache inside. I wish you hope when things are going bad, kind words when times are sad. I wish you shelter from the raging wind, and waters at the fever's end. I wish you peace when times are hard, the light to guide you through the dark. Oh, and when storms are high and your dreams are low, I wish you the strength to let love grow on. I wish you the strength to let love flow. I wish you peace when times are hard. Oh, a light there to guide you through the dark. And when storms are high and your dreams are low, I wish you the strength to let love grow on. I wish you the strength to let love flow on. I wish you the strength to let love flow on. I wish you the strength to let love go.
Hasta Rivas.
Nice. Thank you, band, as always. Bev and I talked about dressing this morning with a nod toward Halloween. Her scarf actually has some Halloween stuff on it, and I've heard that every outfit needs an accessory or an accent point, so I thought, you know. And you good metaphysical students know that orange is zeal. That's right. Well, so that I don't get too zealful, I'm just going to leave this over here. 3 weeks ago, I shared with you a sermon about the principle of peace. And I made the point over and over and over and over again, hoping to make the point that peace is not about outer things. Peace is not about the absence of war. It's not the absence of weapons. Peace is a state of consciousness, a state of mind, a state of being that allows those things in the outer to appear. It's important for us to remember that. 2 weeks ago, I shared with you about the practice of peace, and of the many ways that we can practice peace, we looked at being peace, embodying peace, not being focused on what's going on out there, but embodying it, what's going on in here. We talked about honoring diversity. We talked about choosing nonviolence as a way of practicing peace. And I want to share with you today another sermon about peace, interestingly enough. I want to share about the possibilities of peace. Now, the possibility of peace and the longing for peace, the desire for peace, has been in the hearts of humankind ever since we realized that the peace wasn't there. Ever since we realized the discord that we're living in and the challenge that we were living in, that longing for peace was in us, as a part of us, always there. And peace is an essential concept for us to look at today. It's something important for us to be concerned about. If you consider the Middle East and how long the wars, the killing, and all that goes on back there has been going on there. And if you look at current events, as Bev mentioned, the shooting in the synagogue, which breaks our hearts to see that kind of thing happening at all, especially right here at home. And yesterday or the day before, they arrested the guy down here in South Florida who sent the bombs and all the mail to all the people around the country. We see all these things happening over and over again. And we know that we long for peace. We want peace. And in the midst of all that is going on, I refuse to give in to pessimism. In all that's going on, I refuse to give in to cynicism. In all that's going on, I refuse to give in to hopelessness, because I believe in the possibilities of peace. I believe with all my heart in the possibility of peace. And I trust that you will too. Let's look at these possibilities in three areas of our lives. One of them is global peace. Now, we may think that the thoughts and the efforts toward global peace is something new, something modern that we somehow invented, but it's not. Because if you read your Old Testament, as many of you have done under my encouragement, and many more of you are going to do next year, first in Isaiah, a passage that is be familiar to some of you. They shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, let us walk in the light of the Lord. That's old. That's been around for a long time. And then out of Zechariah, rejoice greatly, O daughter of Zion. Shout, daughter of Jerusalem. I will take away the chariots from Ephraim and the war horses from Jerusalem, and the battle bow will be broken. He will proclaim peace to the nations. His rule will extend from sea to sea and from river to the ends of the earth. Again, ancient times speaking to this inherent longing within us for peace. And then once again from Isaiah chapter 11, the wolf shall live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will feed them. The cow will feed with the bear, their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like an ox. That imagery speaking about this incredible peace where there's no conflict, there's no fear, there's no harm, there's no hate. So this longing is present within us at all times, for the past and now. And we know many of the people who have spoken about peace. Well, I shared with you about a number of them 2 weeks ago. The Mother Teresa's and Thich Nhat Hanh. And many of those people who have not only spoken about peace, but lived and demonstrated those peace. And Gandhi was another one that was really important for us. Yesterday, in preparation for the sermon, I went back and listened to Martin Luther King's sermon on I Have a Dream, which is an incredibly powerful experience. Even the energy of it, if you don't even listen to the words real closely, the energy of what's happening there, that dream, that hope, that longing for peace, to take what is dark and make it light, to take what is hate and make it love, to take what is contempt and make it respect. That is within us. It is there. It is present all the time. And it's important that we acknowledge it. It is important that we believe in the possibility of peace, that it can happen. Many people look at the world and say, well, the Middle East, they've been fighting from the beginning of time and they're going to continue till it's all over with. I don't have that kind of pessimistic view about things. People say, well, the human nature is flawed and that's just the way we are. We're always going to fight. We're always going to hate. I don't believe that. I will not accept that as true about us and who we are. And people say it's always been that way and it's always going to be that way. I refuse to give into that kind of hopelessness because I believe in the possibility of peace. I believe that humankind as a race can hold that state of consciousness that is peace. I believe that we as a race globally, we can hold that state of being that is peace and therefore transform our world into what we have wanted for so very long. I believe that with all my heart. In the face of all that says it's not true, I believe it is true. In the face of all that says it's not real, I believe it is real, and I will stand there and see it happen. So we have globally, that's a big picture. That's always a concern for us. But let's bring it a little closer to home. You know, that old joke about how you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time, yes. So let's take a little smaller bite about this thing of peace. What about your immediate world? What's the impact of peace or the absence of it in your immediate world? Let's think about relationships with other people. Any of you in the last year had any kind of interaction with anyone who you would say was not peaceful? I should say any of you had not had that experience somewhere along, all the way from someone just cutting you off in traffic to somebody close to you betraying you, whatever may happen. We have that experience. So what can we do about that? Are we going to believe that it's impossible to have peace in our personal communication, in our personal relationships? Are we going to give in to the world and say, oh, it can't happen, it's too hard, people are too messed up, and it just won't happen? I don't believe it. So when we embrace that idea, the possibility of peace in our personal relationships, it doesn't matter what anybody else does. Remember, peace is not essentially about what's happening out there. It's about what's happening in here. It's about a state of consciousness. So even if the people that you communicate with, even the people that you're in relationship with don't behave properly and don't respond in like manner when you act appropriately, there's a sense in which that really doesn't matter, does it? What matters is your consciousness, your mind, your state of being. So give some thought about that possibility. It's easy for us to say, well, let's pray for all the world leaders so that they can bring peace in the world. And that's appropriate, absolutely. I believe that makes a difference when we hold that prayer and that thought. But what about closer to home? Sometimes it's easier to put it out there than to bring it over here. So give some thought about a situation in your relationship with someone else that you wouldn't consider peaceful. And ask yourself the very difficult question, what did you contribute to that? And I don't say that in a judging way or a blaming way. It's just obvious. Because one person can't have an unpeaceful situation. It takes somebody to mess it up, right? So be willing to take your responsibility for your part of it. And it may be a tiny, tiny part, or you may realize it was really your doings. You set the thing up and put it in motion. But give some thought to that relationship and say, how can I bring peace into this relationship? How can I bring honor and respect and compassion and love and light into this relationship? Now, I know what at least one person's thinking, well, they don't deserve it. And they don't. Since when is love about deserving? Since when is compassion about earning it? It's not. That's not the model that we were given by God. So think honestly, truly in your heart about those relationships and say, what can I do to be peace? And again, think first about your state of mind and the actions secondarily. Because you can do all kinds of things out there, but if your heart is not behind it, it's going to be empty, and people will figure that out pretty quickly. I can't remember who it was who said one time that when you're able to fake sincerity, you got it made. I would have a hard time agreeing with that, because those people who are halfway sensitive can pick up on fakery real quickly. And if we go out in our relationships attempting just to make it better out there without making it better in here, it's not going to work. So we take that time to realize that every person that stands in front of you deserves your respect because they are there. It doesn't have to do with human value and human judgment. It has to do with principle. That every human being, because they are a human being, because they are God expressing just like you, every one of us deserves respect in that sense. Every one of us deserves compassion. Every one of us deserves love and light. And we can choose to live that way. There is within the heart of humankind that longing, and always has been, for peace. This is one of the ways that it comes to pass. This is one of the ways it manifests, is by our being very deliberate, very careful, very purposeful in relating to those around us, in communicating with people, and in relationship. It's easy to feel hurt by someone else. I've been there. I used to say I've been kicked everywhere it hurts and twice in some places. And that happens when you're willing to be vulnerable. That's not the issue. The issue is you and me holding that state of consciousness, holding that state of being, holding that state of awareness that is peace. And from that place, all the things that are manifestations of peace will flow. Are you willing? Are you willing to be peace to all those you have relationship with? All those you have relationship. Now, start with the easy ones. Okay? Don't jump right into the hard ones. We all have that aunt, that uncle, that brother, that sister, that nephew, that grandparent, that parent that you have an issue with. Don't start with the hard ones. Just pay attention when you're dealing with somebody who you really like. Think, am I taking this for granted? Can I be deliberately compassionate with my friend? Can I be deliberately loving, not just letting it happen all by itself, but being deliberate about it? And recognize that. You know, Jesus said to some folks that were giving him trouble, he said, you know, how can you claim to love God who you haven't seen when you don't even love your brother who you see every day? So we have a great opportunity to practice in that relationship with other people. So start with the easy ones and go from there. And when you realize, wow, when I really drop into my heart and I acknowledge that I am compassionate, it makes a difference with my friend. Now let me find somebody who's not going to be quite so friendly and see how it works. I dare you. Put it to the test. I mean, after all, is unity not practical Christianity? We are peace, and then we manifest peace in our relationships with other people. Now, there's one other area that is when the minister starts meddling, and that is in here. I actually presented it to you backwards because what we're first and foremost concerned about is in here. Being peace with yourself. Being kind to yourself. We talked about this. We had a wonderful week this past week. We had our Spiritual Education and Enlightenment series intensive this week, and I got to teach metaphysics every day for 5 days. And I woke up yesterday morning and went, I want to teach. I'm in the groove here. We're going. But we talked about in that class about the nature of humankind, and that the fact that we are Christ. And I know that's disturbing for some people, especially out in the world, but Christ is not a name, it's a title. It wasn't Jesus' last name. Christ is the Greek word Christos, from which we get christening. And what do you do when you christen a baby? You anoint the baby. So Christ means, when I say I am Christ, it's saying I am anointed. I am the presence of God in this particular form. And I encourage my students to look in the mirror and say, good morning, Christ. And how comfortable would you be with that? And I encourage them not to go out in public and do this. This is something private for yourself. But it's difficult for us to give ourselves that due. It's difficult sometimes for us to give ourselves the respect that you're told you're supposed to give to everybody else. It's difficult sometimes for us to be compassionate for ourselves like we're supposed to be for everybody else. But it has to start at home. I do firmly believe that you can love another person only to the degree that you love yourself. A lot of people don't agree with that, but I think when it comes down to it, the truth of that will be known. That you can love another person only to the degree that you love yourself. You can have authentic compassion for another person only to the degree that you have compassion for yourself. You can be only as truly kind to another human being as you can be to yourself. Get the idea that this is fairly important for us to get the importance of dealing with ourselves in here. So peace is possible within ourselves. Now, if I were to ask you, you don't raise your hands, but ask you, how many of you have ever been in therapy? I suspect there would be very few who hadn't been. Why? Because we get messed up along the way. We get taught things that are inconsistent with the truth that is inherent within us, and it sets up a dissonance that it makes difficult to live with. So we have trouble accepting ourselves for who we are, as being God expressing, as being the embodiment and the living out of Spirit, because we're not good enough. And there's a word I won't use in here that would fit very well right there. It's not true. I had a lady come into my office one time. She said, I feel guilty every time I breathe. Dear God, let us pray right now. That's a, pardon me, but a hell of a way to live. Pun intended. When we realize that we are the beginning point of all that is expressed out into the world, and especially peace. We are the beginning point. And it's important for us to allow ourselves to be loved by ourselves. It's important that we respect ourselves. It's important that we honor ourselves and we let ourselves be who we fully are. Not comparing you to somebody else. It's kind of like, you remember the old Westerns where there was always a faster gun than the fastest gun? And that always kept being passed along. Well, there's always going to be somebody that's smarter than you. There's always going to be somebody who's better than you at something. There's always going to be somebody who's prettier or more handsome or taller or shorter or whatever it is. So if you depend on the outer for your value and worth, you're in trouble. You're going to spend a lifetime miserable in that way. So you are who you are, period. Sure, we compare ourselves to other people as points of reference, give you an idea where you fit in the world and what's going on around you. But when it comes down to your nature, to your value, to your worth, it has absolutely nothing to do with any other human being on the planet. It is just you. And you are complete and whole and perfect as spirit expressing. It's time that we begin to give ourselves that credit. And when we do that, we are fulfilling the possibility of peace within us. And when we fulfill the possibility of peace within us, we can fulfill the possibility of peace in our relationships out in the world. And when we fulfill our possibilities of peace out in our world in relationships, then we can begin to see those possibilities for the global peace to be manifested. Do you believe in the possibility of peace? Live it. Do it. I saw a bumper sticker one time. It said J-O-Y. Jesus, others, and you. And my first impulse was, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm glad people are driving around with Jesus on their bumper. You know, considering the alternative, that's not bad. But the more I thought about it, the less I liked it. Because where does that put us? Right on the bottom. And that's what we're fighting against all along, is not letting ourselves see ourselves on the bottom. So I have a proposal that we create a new logo for peace. And that is YAG. Yaj. Yaj. You, others, Jesus. Is that not consistent with what I said just a moment ago? If there's going to be joy in the world, if there's going to be peace in the world, if there's going to be truth in the world and light in the world, where does it have to start? Right here with you. You can't start with Jesus. You got to start with you. And when we recognize and honor and celebrate that which is within us, we can then turn to others and say, hey, I got some light. You want some? I got love running out all over the place here. I'd like have somebody to share it with me. Yourself, others, and then we can thank God for being here and being a part of what's going on here. I can see it in a t-shirt. Y-O-J. In bright letters, in orange letters. And walk around and watch people go, what? And somebody might ask you. I mean, it's worth a try. Huh? How many of you remember the peace symbol from the 70s? Yeah? How many of you know where that really came from? Ha-ha, a little bit of trivia here. It began as a symbol of the nuclear disarmament movement. And in the international maritime flag language, N is like this, and D is like this. So you take this, and you've got the peace sign, which stands for nuclear disarmament. And it went from there to being adopted as a general universal peace symbol along the way. Well, I want to make a new one. I want Yaj to be our new peace symbol. So think about that, all right? I believe that will work. Yourself, others, Jesus. Yourself, others, yourself, your world, and the big world. I believe in the possibility of peace. I believe in the possibility of peace, despite all appearances, despite how much of a history we've had without peace, despite all kinds of opinions, despite those people who don't want peace to come because they profit by not having peace, despite all of those things, I believe in the possibility of peace, and I want to be a part of it. How about you? Yes. Yeah. I believe in the possibility of peace. I believe in the possibility of peace. I believe in the possibility of peace. God bless you. We come to this time in the service where you have opportunity to support the work of this ministry with your gifts, as you have so wonderfully supported it with your presence. So I invite you to take that which you have to give and hold it in your hands and bless that gift. Infuse it with your consciousness, with your love, with your light, with your passion, and know that that energy follows that gift everywhere it goes. This church is supported by your gifts. We don't have any inflow of money coming from some other organization. It is your church, and you get to support it. So I invite you to give generously and lovingly and joyfully. So let us join together in our offertory prayer. Together. With a grateful heart, I acknowledge God as source of all that is. Today, I declare good for myself and all others. Good is mine. Good and more good is mine. And ever-increasing good is mine. Everywhere I go, I see this good. I feel it. I experience it. I freely give it, and it multiplies itself around me, and so it is. Amen.
We do believe in the possibility of peace, and I'm so glad you quoted that passage from Isaiah, because that's where this song comes from.
Unity. Clap your hands with us. Come on. Sing it with us. I'm gonna lay down my heavy load down by the riverside. Down by the river. Come and join us. Stand up. Down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my heavy load down by the riverside. Down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study one no more. One no more, I ain't gonna study no.
Well, we had a great time at Sunday school. Come on up, kids, if you want to. Catherine went to get Megan. Come on up, Sabrian. Hi, Isaiah. We don't have a younger class yet for little Isaiah and for Megan, but for these, I managed to manage them. Even though our topic was enthusiasm. They're not lacking in enthusiasm, are you? Now, Praise wants to lead us in our closing, so why don't you all stand, please? And she will lead us in our prayer for protection, okay? Ready?
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God sources over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and well is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
God bless you, everyone. Have a great week.